Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Elena. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me today. Usually I have a plan for what the video I want to do is, so it's usually like a bullet point of ideas because I want to make sure that I don't miss out on everything that I want to talk about. But today, this wasn't even the video that I wanted to do today, but I just really want to get this off my chest before I lose the feelings that motivated me to make this video. So last year around May 2019, I ended up having to go to the hospital. So basically I've been having headaches all my life, and I never really knew what they were. I just figured everybody gets headaches, it's not a big deal, so I just said suck it up, not a big deal. But they started to become more consistent. They were very recurring, and it was just like this thing that just never went away. And it started to scare me. But you know, you do this thing where you tell yourself, it's not a big deal, and you ignore it, even though you like something in the back of your mind tells you that it's actually a little more serious than you think. But you let fear drive you. Until one day I woke up from sleeping feeling like I was fainting. Like I was asleep, but I felt like I was literally being dragged into sleep deeper, and that genuinely scared me. So I was just like to myself, okay, Elena, this is enough. You are being ridiculous. So I went to my family doctor and I said to her, listen, I think something is actually wrong. Can we do something about this? Now in Canada, we do have a free healthcare system, but because of that, because the system is free, you do have to wait. So she started the process to get me to see a neurologist. So she heard my concerns and she started to get things working, and I saw this neurologist. He wasn't very good. He kind of like used a lot of big words, and when you tried to ask him questions, he would just look at you like, why aren't you understanding the things that I'm saying to you? Like, I really did not like him, but he explained, I didn't get it, and he told me what was wrong, which I didn't understand. He did start the process though. So while we were doing whatever he wanted me to do, which I didn't get, I was at work and with the headaches, and everybody was concerned because they could see I was having like these throbbing pulsations in my head where my hearing would cut off with each pulse. It was like a whole thing. That's not even the point of the story. So basically what happened was, one day at work we were just having fun, and I had gotten used to having the constant headaches, but then it just went from normal pain to like, oh my god, what the heck is going on? It felt like I was just standing and somebody grabbed a bat and just started to bash me in the head, and I was just like, what is happening? My coworkers started to freak out, and so they were like, Elena, we're gonna call an ambulance, because it was crazy. I never want to ever feel pain like that again. I wanted to make jokes about it, like, no, it's not a big deal, but even I could realize that it was actually worse than, it was like the worst feeling than I had ever felt. So eventually when I tried to leave and I would just go home, they were like, no, you're not leaving this place, we're calling an ambulance. I ended up in the ambulance. We left to go to the hospital, and they found out what the reason was. That's still not the point of the story. So I got to a new neurologist, because when I got into the emergency room, the doctors started to talk, and actually the doctor was very upset. The emergency admitting doctor, she was like, what is this neurologist doing? Like the previous one who I said was terrible, she was like, what is he doing? Is he trying to kill you? Like, you've been seeing this man for months and he doesn't know what is going on. Like, why hasn't he started you on medication for the problem? Because he had sent me to that hospital to do an MRI before, and I'm getting into this, but it's not even the point of the story. Basically, they already had my charts from the previous MRI that I'd done there, and they were like, why aren't you on medication if this doctor already knew what the problem was? Of course you're going to end up in the hospital if he literally was holding your chart that said this is the problem. He should have started you on the medication. So she got upset. She started me on this new medication. I did a CAT scan or whatever it's called, and then I was loopy for like 2 weeks. My boss kept saying you can't come to work, and there was a whole thing. So then I started having to go to I started having to go to see a neurologist, an ophthalmologist, and a whole bunch of stuff. So now we're getting into the point of this whole story. So for the last year, I've been having to go downtown, which is where the hospital is. It's on University Avenue. So I go to Mount Sinai Hospital. I don't know why it's called Mount Sinai. If you look at the spelling of the hospital, it doesn't spell like... Anyway, this is an argument that I keep having. I have this theory that... Anyway, it's not important. It's downtown. I don't like going downtown. Downtown is very busy. I'm a very introverted person. I don't like to go downtown. Downtown always has so many people, and you always have to like be pushed up against all these people, and I don't like it. So I only have to go there once every month or every 2 months when I have to go to the hospital. So that's the only time I have to go there. If I have to go see the ophthalmologist, if I have to go to the eye doc, the ophthalmologist, or if I have to see the neurologist. These are the only times I have to go down there. So it's really easy to get down there. The Toronto transit system, people complain about it a lot. And, no transit system is perfect. But from my home, it takes me about 20 minutes to get there. So I have to take one bus. The bus gets to the subway station, and then I take about, 5-6 subway stops. And then I get to Queen's Park Station, which is the hospital station. So when I get to my subway station, which is St. Clair subway station, you might not even know it. This might not even be important. I'm just explaining that the reason I'm mentioning which stops I'm taking is so that you can understand. At St. Clair subway station, it's usually a very peaceful station. There are barely any people at that station. By the time we get down to the downtown stations, the subway is packed. So my subway door, when I enter, it's usually the front door. But by the time we get to the Queen's Park stop, my door, which was the front door, becomes the back door. And I'm so packed in that I'm pushed up against the door. Like, there's so many people that I have to like stand on my tippy toes and squish myself up against the back door to fit. Every single time I have to go to the hospital to do whatever test or to see the doctor, I'm always having this anxiety, like, because it's always full by the time we get to the Queen's Park station. So I'm always like, will I be able to get out? There's so many people. Will I have to push my way through? But I'm not aggressive enough to like push my way through. I have never missed my stop, but every single time I have this anxiety that I'm not going to be able to make it through because there's literally so many bodies there. Like, but the thing is, because that area is the hospital area. It's the University Avenue. It's like literally the hospital corridor. I think there's like 5 or 6 hospitals in that area. So that stop, it's always a busy stop. So when we get there, when the subway gets there, lots of people get out. So I don't know why every single time I get to that stop, I always have this anxiety. It makes no sense because everybody's gonna get off. Like, basically all the doctors and the nurses and the hospital staff and the people who are going to the hospital themselves, or the people who are going to visit people at the hospital, they're all gonna get out there. So I don't know why every single time I'm there and I'm squished up in the back, I'm like, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to get out, and the door is gonna close, I'm gonna miss my appointment, then I have to go to the next stop, then I have to switch over and go to the next, go backwards, and it's this whole thing every single time. So today in December I had an appointment with my neurologist again. They've been working to try and get rid of the problem, and they were hoping that the medication would fix the problem, and boom, medication's not doing it. So they wanted to have they wanted me to do an MRI, a contrast MRI, where they can look inside my brain to see if there's some scary things going on in there. I hope to God that there isn't. So my doctor said she was scheduling an MRI. This was way before COVID-19 was a thing. So COVID-19 happened. So I'm saying to myself, please God, please, anybody out there who's listening, please cancel this whole MRI. I don't want to go to the hospital. First off, I don't like needles. Well, at the time I didn't know it was going to be a contrast MRI. My family doctor accidentally let that slip. She didn't mean to, because she knows I don't like needles, so she accidentally let that slip. I also don't like enclosed spaces. The MRI machine is always it's so tiny. I don't like it. And there's a coronavirus thing going on, so I was praying that they would send me this letter saying, oh, we were so sorry, we're canceling the MRI. Turns out, nope, I got the letter saying MRI is happening. So I got the letter and it said today, the MRI was happening today. 7:30 in the morning, I have to be there for the MRI. So I kept waiting for the hospital to call me and say, we changed our mind, you don't have to come. But lo and behold, MRI, I had to go. So I got ready, I do my normal stuff the day before. I prep all the stuff. Like, if you've seen the video that comes before this one, I mentioned I always prepare for stuff. You always stack the cards in your favor. So I have all the stuff ready for me. I have sanitizer, I have alcohol wipes, I have a backup face mask in case anything happens. I have my debit card, my credit card. I walk with a whole bunch of stuff just in case. You never know. I don't walk with gloves because I think that gloves give you a false sense of security. I'd rather keep my hands empty and keep using sanitizer or washing my hands as often as possible. So anyway, so I haven't left my home since March. As in, I've gone to the grocery store, which is about 10 minutes away, and I've gone to the pharmacy, which is literally right next to the grocery store. That's as far as I've gone. I've gone in the neighborhood, that's it. I haven't gone anywhere else. That's not true. I went to the eye doctor, so the ophthalmologist. I've been there in the very beginning of the coronavirus, so things hadn't really changed around that time. People were still really tense, but they hadn't really set up most of the protocols yet. So I really don't count that because it was literally like 2 or 3 weeks before the whole coronavirus started. After the whole coronavirus started, so it doesn't really count. So today was the first time that I've ventured out into the world past my home. And oh my God, culture shock. This is why I'm here right now to talk. I had to go to the bus. I haven't been on the bus. I haven't been anywhere since this happened. You can't enter the bus from the front doors anymore. I had to go through the back to use the tap machine. You can't pay with cash anymore. That's not available. The bus was quiet. I've never experienced that before. It's the most eerie thing. Silence. Chairs marked off. You can sit here, you cannot sit here. You can sit here, you cannot sit here. Eerie. It was just weird. It's just everywhere I turn, everybody's wearing face masks. It's so weird. I don't know. It's just, I think, yes, everybody should be wearing because we're trying to stop the spread of the virus. But for me, it's just so weird. We got into the subway station. Silence. Not a single person's talking. Nobody's sitting around. I have spent hours just sitting in the subway station and just writing. I don't know, something about watching people walk or the sounds of people walking helps my brain work. Like, I just sit there and I just write when I want to get ideas out. I used to just do that, just on any of the benches. I would just sit there with my phone and I just write down ideas. Nobody was doing that. All I could hear was to help stop the spread of COVID-19. Please remember to wash your hands. please do not touch your face. It's just over and over. That's all I kept hearing. I don't know why. It freaked me out. I don't know why it was just freaking me out. It's just a message. They were just spreading the message. It's just to help stop the spread of COVID-19. Please remember to wash your hands for 20 minutes and do not touch your face. Remember to wear face coverings. It's just over and over. I went to this subway, like every time the train would get to one subway station and the door would open, you'd hear the same message. Or whatever, the music, the subway, there's a little song, a little jingle that plays just before the subway message, a subway message comes on. I've forgotten how it goes. To help stop the spread of COVID-19, please remember to wash your hands and do not touch your face. Please wear a face covering. Cough into your elbows. It was just so weird. It was so, I don't know. It was so weird because there was just silence. And people were just walking like it was just like people were walking spaces from each other. Nobody was touching anything. And I don't know, I felt like I was in a dream. Then we got into the subway, onto the subway car. It's one of those subway cars that do not have separation. So it's just like, I always call them worms because they kind of like twist and turn and there's no division. You can just walk from front to back without the doors. It's just an open train. And people were just sitting separated and I could see through the entire train. And about 90 to 95% of everybody was wearing some form of mask. Silence, just silence. And I don't know why my eyes just started to water. I don't know, it just made me feel like crying. Everybody was just silent, and I've never seen that in Toronto before. It's just, I agree that we need to do this. This is so important, and there will come a time when we don't have to do this anymore. But for some reason, something about that was so unnatural to me. It was so unnatural. Everybody was just so silent, and in a corner, there was this old man, like he maybe 67 years old. He had a lime green shirt, and it said, "Make some noise." I wanted to take a picture, but I didn't want people to like look at me weird. It was just so weird because I have never sat in a subway station, on a subway train, and just had silence. Just nobody was talking. They call it, they're trying to change the term from social distance to physical distance, but it is social distancing. We are not talking anymore. Like I said, I'm an introvert. I am introverted. I'm not good with people. When I'm outside talking to people, I get drained. Like, people drain me. When I'm done my work and I'm done for the rest of the day, I feel so exhausted talking to all the people. But when I go outside, when I go to the grocery store, when I'm out, I can still trust that I might end up interacting with somebody. Maybe there was one day I went to the grocery store, and for some reason, everywhere I went, this woman was there, and I would be like, which oil should I buy? And she's like, you should buy this one. This is a good oil. And then I bought it, and yeah, it was good oil. I went to the honey, and she was like, I promise I'm not following you. It's just I was here too. This is good honey. This is a really good honey. This one, they're lying. It's not actually honey. It's mixed with corn syrup. I'm like, really? She's like, yes, look at the label. And then we just had, and everywhere I went, it was just like she kept recommending things. So we would just interact. You'd be walking at the subway, and then suddenly you just have a conversation with somebody because something happened and the two of you connected over it. You know, a lady wanted to go to the today. She wanted to go onto the subway, or not the subway, the streetcar. She had a wheelchair, but usually when that happens, in a normal time, 20 people are running to help her. Today, nobody went to help her, and she just said, never mind. I hate that. I hate that so much. I hate that so much. We don't do that. Even me, I hesitated. I just looked at her. I'm like, I can't. This is not us. I get it. There's a virus, and it's. We're losing who we are. Will we remember when this is done? Because we're building these habits. this is how the brain works. Repeated actions build habits. And when we've developed treatments and we've developed vaccines, these will become ingrained habits. We will no longer help each other, or it will be a while before we'll feel safe to want to help each other. And it hurts. I was out for 3 hours today. So even when I got to the hospital, it was so weird. So I don't like to go places. Like I said, I'm introverted. People, just people. It was like this whole. I felt like I was entering a police station. Like I was going into prison. You can only enter through this door. You can only exit through that door. Do you have a cold? Did you have a runny nose? Do you have a fever? Do you know anybody who has the COVID-19? Have you been tested for COVID-19? Please take some sanitizer. Make sure you wash your hands. Stand by the yellow line. What is your name? Are you on the list? They went to check the list. My name was on the list. Then they put a sticker on my shirt. That's crazy. You know how many people just walk in and out? I used to just walk through the hospital all the time because I didn't want to go around the whole block. Now I have to go around the whole block. I was afraid to go the other way because I was afraid like the security guard would like tackle me. That's even the staff has a special entrance. They have to like show their ID to make sure that you know that they're staff. That's crazy. That's just crazy. Anyway, it just felt very dystopian. I felt like I was like people. I don't even know if people are realizing this. You can only walk this way. Everybody's wearing them. Like if you look outside, everybody's wearing masks. Please wear the mask. It's important. I'm not saying it's you shouldn't wear the mask. Please wear the mask. It is important. It's just the look of it. The look of it. I feel like we're living in this crazy time. I feel like I'm sending mixed messages. I'm not. I promise I'm not. I really do agree that we need to protect people from the coronavirus. It's so scary. People are just dying from it. Because it's so new and our bodies have no immunity. I really do agree. It's just the look of it, the way it's the way society just changed so suddenly. There are people that are just, I saw them one day and I never even got to say goodbye. It's just so weird. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about this because it freaked me out so much. It freaked me out so much. It's just so weird. Maybe because the change is so sudden and I'm just not used to it, that it's just my brain just needs some time to like to adjust. But it just feels like I just walked outside into some dystopian society that I've read about in books where people are controlled, and then next thing you know there'll be guns outside where they'll tell us you're not 6 feet apart, and then they'll like cock the shotgun, and then they'll I don't know, things escalate and that's how it goes. So I just really hope they find a cure soon before it gets to that point. But that's the fear in the human brain. And I tend to see things in extremes, so who knows? Anyway, that was what I just wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for listening. Don't let my crazy fear-filled brain scare you. It's just something I noticed. It's just so shocking for me, and I haven't been out in since March. So maybe I was just not used to it and other people have already gotten used to it. So thank you. If you like these kinds of videos, please subscribe and hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.